Hey Sagar, can you hear me?
Hey Atul, good morning. Sushant join.
Very good morning, Sushant. All right, guys, let's wait for another couple of minutes till Sagar is ready, and let's wait for other people to join, and we'll start with this.
Sure, thanks, Atul. Yeah. Very good morning to everyone. Atul, can we get started?
Sure, Sagar. Thank you very much for everyone for joining into the webinar. So this is a webinar as part of the Salesforce Saturday, Impact Salesforce Saturday series of webinars. We try to organize one of them at least one or two every month. Thank you very much for joining in. So today's webinar is going to be given by, we have our esteemed speaker here, Sagar. So Sagar, if you can pull up the PPT.
Sure. Do let me know once you can see my screen.
For sure. Awesome. Thank you very much, Sagar. Yes, I can see your screen. So, guys, this webinar is from Sagar. Sagar is a reigning Salesforce Einstein champion, as well as he's a Salesforce consultant, excuse me, working at HCL Technologies. So, Sagar will be taking this webinar. This webinar today, he's going to be talking about how to create a chatbot powered by Einstein Intent Prediction. So, this is going to be a very, it's going to be more on hands-on. And yeah, so Sagar, take it away.
Thank you so much, Atul, and thank you so much for everyone to join on a weekday. And I'm really appreciate you coming and joining the webinar. So my name is Sagar, and I am an Einstein champion working as a senior consultant in HCL Technologies. I am always, into AI things, looking for what we can do, how we can minimize the total amount of time taken by anyone, right, in any process, whether it is admin, developer, or it is an end user, right, or which type of end user, how we can minimize it, reduce it to the next level, and then take it forward. So today's session is gonna be all around the a chatbot. So we will be creating a chatbot. We'll be having understanding the chatbot and then powering it with the Einstein intent, and this will be kind of a second part of the previous Einstein language webinar, where I gave an a deep down introduction on how the Einstein platform services are available and how we can leverage them. So let's get started. Einstein Champions program important here. So I always try to educate everyone, share it with all our Ohana, that Einstein Championship program is very important for everyone. It will be reopening on I think in February, but the exact date will be of course confirmed by Salesforce. So um, please stay updated. In case if you are not sure, right, then please do follow connect with me. I will definitely share it across, or um, connect with on Salesforce blogs and all the other respective people as well. So you will get the latest update on when the championship program will be live. So moving ahead, I gave a little brief just now. So we'll be understanding a very basic chatbot, how it works, and then we'll try to replicate one of our own, and then of course Q&A. It will be a very short, a very crisp, and in the end I will be sharing a URL, a dynamic, a site, .com URL that can be used and leveraged by everyone to train, build their own model, and then um, verify it through a chatbot screen. So it's gonna be really cool, I would say. So yep. So I am there on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Trailhead. please do connect with me. I would love to connect with all of you and share, learn, grow together. Yeah. Atul, are you there? Would you like to take this one up?
Sure. Yeah, Sagar, thank you very much. So, guys, yeah, a little bit about New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. So, this group has been around for quite some time now, but yeah, it was revived in February of 2016. I took it up. I was fortunate enough to take the responsibility and was given the responsibility of this group, and we started doing our meetups from there on. So you can reach out to us via our Twitter handle, which is New Delhi SFDC DUG. Our handle in almost all of the platforms is pretty much the same. We have the same handle, New Delhi SFDC DUG. If some of you are wondering what does this mean, that means New Delhi Salesforce.com Developer User Group. Again, that's how we used to call them back in the days. So that's what's going on now. The developer group and user groups are different, and then there are other types of community groups also out there, like B2C, B2B. You can also join our Trailblazer community group using this bit.ly URL, that is bit.ly/New Delhi community. Guys, make sure all the bit.ly URLs are case sensitive. And you can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/New Delhi SFDC. So the whole point of connecting with us in all of these places is any communication that we are sending out, it's available in all of these places. Now, even if you're not monitoring Twitter, you're not monitoring Facebook, you'll get an email from Trailblazer community. Also, if you can also join our website. So as soon as you go to our website on the right hand side, or as soon as you land on the website, you'll get a pop-up and you can subscribe to our blog post. So any a new event that we are organizing, you'll get a notification as soon as the blog post is up and running, that hey, this new webinar or this new session is going to happen. So you'll not miss any updates. Also, we continue to push more blogs, more posts, general news about the community via our website. So you'll also not miss that. So make sure you join all of these places so that you keep updated with us. Sagar.
Thanks, Atul. Yep.
Thank you. So yeah, let me take it up a little bit about hashtag Salesforce Saturday. Guys, this was started by Stephanie Herrera in Austin, Texas. And the format they were following back in the days there, and it's still continuing there. Every Saturday they used to meet in a coffee shop, anywhere, any coffee shop, there's no specific place they have, where they used to share and learn more about Salesforce. This is more around people who are new to Salesforce, who have problems with Salesforce, developers, admins, anyone who has any issue, whether it's related to their Salesforce job, career, networking. They can come here and they can interact with each other. Now, it's now a global phenomenon. We have got more than 25, actually more than 50 Salesforce Saturday groups all over the world. For India, we are doing them in the form of online knowledge sharing sessions and trailhead challenges. Online knowledge sharing sessions like Impact Salesforce Saturday are our main way of communicating with you and sharing the knowledge. So we have champions and community leaders and developers out there in the community, Indian community, who would love to share their knowledge and their understanding of the Salesforce and various products that are now part of Salesforce platform with you. Sagar is one of them. Thank you very much again, Sagar. So guys, please take the advantage of this. You go to our website. There are a lot of sessions already posted. There are a lot of more sessions that we have conducted in the past, where we continue to post them on the website. And you'll keep, again, if you subscribe to our website, you'll be updated with all of those sessions, all of the content. We make sure that we record all of our webinars, and we also make sure that we have the slides. So all the webinar videos will be uploaded to YouTube and shared with you, as well as all the slides are uploaded to SlideShare and shared with you. So it's and you can find all of them in one place on our website as part of each blog post. So that's the format that we're following. Sagar.
Thanks again. Yep. So,
Thank you.
yep. So as shared, our aim is to create a chatbot with code powered by Salesforce Intent Prediction, and the reason, the reason um, or coming to the basics, how it is different from the Service Cloud Einstein bot, which is generally available, right? So this is something which we will be building, which we'll have in our own org, right, with us, and that will give us, build all on the code, UI, of course, with Lightning, and backend, of course, through Apex, and the intent being taken care by the data set, which we will design and we will take care of it. So everything will be in our control, and if we have everything in our control, right, the power of Apex everywhere, so I think we can leverage it in a different way, not only in the Service Cloud, right, but on the other areas as well. So uh, uh, we will be taking care of this demo in this on the other way around, right, from a other picture, that how we can um, decrease the time taken by the admins, by a normal admin or a developer who always comes in, right, and then gets something out of the system, or a general sales user, right, to who's always coming in and just trying to search it, search some opportunity or some account, right? So of course we will try to target that pain area as of now on this demo, but overall picture is that the way we want to build it, we can um, we can write a logic with the by using Apex, and then uh, do it. So that's pretty straightforward. Prerequisite, of course, a few minutes of focus. It will be very short, and your commitment as well. Any Salesforce org, if you have, right, then we need Salesforce basics, well understanding with code. This is something I know admins and consultant are not much aware of, but to target this pain point, I have we have created a different portal where you it's like a force.com site exposed to everyone. You can go and you can build your own data set there, and then um, get a model ID, and then you know try testing your bot. So it will help you to uh, you know build the data set from the core, and then you can take it forward. And well understanding with code, for developer, and I think um, it's a common thing, right? Knowledge of API REST callouts. Yeah, it is very much a basic understanding is required, because I will be using certain terms where I think you might get confused who doesn't have, but I think APIs are something that in in today's world everyone is aware, when even one after clearing his 12th standard, coming to the college, everyone knows about the basics, or slight about the APIs. Knowledge of data set and modeling. Yeah, so there are certain terms and certain labels, or L values, right, I will be using, which will be correlated to the data set and the modeling. So let's get started with our next part, and let's understand a very basic chatbot, how it actually works, and how we can take it in our own perspective and build it. So a basic chatbot is nothing but an interface to an end user, where he inputs something to get something, to get a um, response. That response should be always appropriate, and that is something we have to ensure. So this UI available on all the device, it should be available on all the devices, irrespective of not just available on the laptop screens, right? It should be available through some sort of some sort of a small screen inside a web browser, inside a mobile, when I'm running it through mobile as well, right? So that it should be available through all devices, consist of user input and the response. So that is generally we call it as a dialogue, a canvas. When I say canvas, it's like the screen where the ongoing conversation is being stored. It makes the overall conversation more productive. That user can actually see, right, what he had typed 2 3 minutes back, and then what where the conversation is going on right now from a user perspective, and as well as from the end, from a um, response perspective. System knows that okay, this is something where which the user initially queried for, and this is how the conversation went further. Available everywhere. Easiest ways to get things done. Yep. So I think all these things are self-explanatory. So whenever we receive an input, it is available in a natural language a natural language format. um, so to get the intent out of it, that what actually user is trying to mean, what he actually meant, is something we will be using Einstein platform services to get the intent out of the query, out of the input given by the user. And through that input, once we get the user intent, what we will do is we will just follow up with that intent to the respective task which has to be done. So we will be identifying what exactly has to be done based on the intent. That is something we commonly have heard about it in our in our world, the term skills. So you might have heard something like skills that you create when you or you connect with, right, when you have bought, for an example, you have purchased a electronic item, right, and in order to connect with it, right, then you might have seen some option called skill, right? So there is where it comes in, right? Once we get the user intent, we will connect with it with the followed up task, and then once the task gets completed, right, so of course a task will return something that will be our response, and we will be just providing the response in the right format, that is of course being taken care by the logic, right? And we'll be sharing it back to the user on the screen. So what if it's not just something which I need as a response? I might need input based on the response. So for an example, if I search a user, right? So user inputs, like I want to search a user. So what should be the response? Response should be, okay, give me the username. So I am requesting another input from the user. So in that case, we can activate a session, right? What we can say as a session, ongoing session, and then this will be a input response session. And based on this session, we will be getting the response input which is being received again from the user, and then we will be analyzing it, taking care of the existing session, right? The user response session, and then replying it further. So that is something that will ease the pain area, the pain area where we want to maintain transaction, right? Maintain a input response transaction. Uh, a single input response transaction. Again, I'm emphasizing on this because this is something which is very helpful. And once we get the response, we just gives it back to the bot. So in case if the input is received, right, and there is an active session, then we won't be going for the intent. And what we can do is we can use another data model to analyze that user response session input, and then analyze it and then give the appropriate response again. So it is a very basic chatbot, but it gives an overall and a high level understanding that how we can leverage the intent everywhere, or one can say anywhere required to get or to convert the natural language to a user intent format, and then through connect it with the skill, and then followed up with uh, a response. So a very basic understanding. And let's continue to the next uh, screen. So basics part two. Um, Again, just to emphasize on overall picture, a user gives an input, and the bot receives the input on the UI screen, and from there it goes to the platform services to identify the intent out of it. Once we get the input intent out of it, we give the response, and this response is something which is generated by the our logic, right? By the Apex class which we have written in the backend. So this is this Apex class returns something which is not in a natural language format, right? So a classic example is like I always share it across to everyone that if I ask my Siri, will it rain today? Well, of course, it is rain, like rain tomorrow. It is rain today, so it might rain tomorrow. But I want to just be assured that, hey Siri, will it rain tomorrow? Uh, it just got activated. So Siri will say me that, yeah, it will rain tomorrow. But what if I ask, hey Siri, should I? Sorry, sorry, my bad. Uh, so should I? If I ask my Siri that, hey Siri, should I carry an umbrella tomorrow? Then Siri will respond to me, no, Sagar, it's not gonna rain. So what Siri has done is understand my natural language, what I'm trying to say, that is the intent, and then get the required details from the weather app, right? And get once the response is received, convert it into natural language format, and based on the input desired, right, um, it converts it into the format, natural language format, and then give it to me back, right? So that is something natural language generation, which I'm here mentioned, right? Generating the NLP step 4 out of something that we can plan also, right? We can look into this direction, that there are open APIs available. Through there we can actually try to leverage this point, and how we can actually include the NLP generation part into a chatbot, right? Or try to do some sort of high level POC, right? And share it across, and then contribute and do it. I think that will be a really amazing idea. So that is something which I have pointed as a part 4, and this is something which we see everywhere generally, and that we can actually target. Yeah. So moving ahead to the next part, that is our demo. Yeah. So let me open my screen. So this is the site.com portal, kind of a site which we have created for everyone, where they can actually go and play with their their data model, and do all those do the training of the data set, and get the model, and then verify it with the bot. So it consists of 3 part: play with the data model, where we generate the data model from our data set, right? And then verify it with the bot. So once we have the data model ready, we have the ID in place, and then we connect it with the skill set, and then we actually um, you know try to use it in a real environment. And to do so, um, let me go back into the previous webinar and some basics about the Einstein platform. Um, so some common terms: data set, training the data. It consists of the data which will be trained, right? And then followed by label. Label is something that grouping of similar data and data inputs, data set, and then model, a machine learning construct that used to solve classification problem. Training, then and going ahead, define your classes and gather the data. Yeah. So as a very simple sample here, I've added the screenshot as well. For so on the left side we have the the data and set, and then we have the labels, right? So all these are just a classification in terms of the labels, right? So uh, a very basic example, and you might see this example everywhere. And the first that's I would say the first step, because the step zero is always to f- uh, get all your all your respective data, recollect it and have it with you. That is where we complete the step zero, and then followed by the step one, that is uploading a file. So I've used a CSV format. We can actually give a a URL, and where we can actually upload it and then send it across. So just to keep it simple, I've given um, upload feature. So just for your reference, this is just for fun. Only .csv files are supported. If you want to mess it up by uploading a PPT or anything, right, then that's up to you. It might not work. It definitely won't work. So uploading a sample intent admin as of now for our current demo, and uploading it. Uploading what in the when I'm uploading it, right, what it does in the background, it basically um, converts the file to uh, the attachment to a file, right, and then get the URL out of it that can be used, that actually be used to generate a data set. So API's hit is being done in the background with the Einstein AI, the APIs, platform services API, where we hit with this file, and they generate a model. They generate a data set ID, and through there we get to train the model ID as well. So it might take some time to the status always remains to uploading. So have added a small sort of recheck, where it does the recheck, and here it goes. It has successfully loaded the data set, and here are the examples. I will come to the data set as well. Once I get start the training, because training always takes some time. So data status of the data set is succeeded. It has been uploaded successfully, and we have the option to train, retrain, delete, and we can actually delete from here. Labels, and then followed by the examples, how many examples we have. And the model ID progress status, it is not available right now because we have not trained the data. So let me train it, and so once I train it, right, we get a model ID, and this is very important. Model ID will be used for further prediction, okay, because predictions are always based on some model which we have trained. And right now it is being queued, and this might take around 2-3 minutes, and might takes a little more time depending on the status. If it is queued, right, then of course, if it isn't, it might take some time to come into the running status, and then um, complete. Okay, so now it is running, and meanwhile it gets completed. Let me take you to the simple intent admin uh, data set which we have created. So it is very basic. It has a lot of training loss data, but okay, let me just give a small brief about it. So on the left side, of course, we have on the right side we have the labels, where we are grouping the examples, and just some initial greetings that what exactly should be included in the initial greetings are being taken as here. And initial greeting is nothing but as a label, right, and we will be then connecting it with the one of the skill, and then followed by the apex class. So here it is, the first greetings, right. a small example like, hey, how are you? Hey, buddy, good morning, sunshine, rainbow, like that. Let's start. So just for the initial acknowledgement, we'll be targeting this label, and for helping and all, right, we'll be targeting this label. For searching an opportunity, we'll be targeting this label, right? And this set of examples. It's very basic. Lots of um, negative cases will be there for sure. I'm saying, when I say negative cases, it's like uh, actually you know some false statement being false actually. So that is something will be there. So just trying to keep it very basic to make sure that everyone on the same page. And we have the analyzing the text, which the find sentiment. So in the sentiment, find sentiment, what we are trying to do is we are making another API call on whatever the user enters as in text, and then this, with the help of the Einstein platform services language, right, the sentiment analysis, we actually understand the intent, sorry, the sentiment of the ongoing text, or right, the given text, and then convert into the format that is positive, neutral, or negative, and then give the output to the end user. So a very basic data set. Let's just go back and see if our data set, okay, so data set is still in running phase. Um, so it might take a little time, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so let me come straight, let us jump 2 steps and come to the verify the bot. Okay, we'll come to this point once this is completed. And let me just copy this model ID as of now. Okay, so okay, meanwhile, once every 30 seconds, it will give me a notification where I can actually go and refresh the data set just to check if any progress has been done or this or not. Okay, so now verify with the bot. Here I've given a sample model ID, so which can be actually used, and I've given a small heads up that, guys, please don't uh, think that below error will actually fail something. That's fine, because this lightning component is working in the app where it is being called through VF, so always something in here and there um, as an issue. Okay. Okay, so we'll come back to this play with model, and once I search it, right, it will give me a basic about the label and examples. This part of the step is just to assure that everything, whatever model ID I'm going to go for the next transaction, is perfectly fine, and that is something that I can actually use. Yeah. So this model ID, of course, is what I already have, followed by the data set. Okay, so followed by the data set, which I have the data set ID, when it was created, what is the name of that one, and what is the status of, and how many epoch we have with this, right? Once I do that, I'm just thinking if this gets completed. Meanwhile, guys, anyone has any questions, they can post it on chat, and then we can take it, because I think this might take a couple of minutes. Okay, yeah, I think it might get completed in, because generally it does like this. It 1% to it goes to 0%, and then it gets completed um, uh, very fast. Oh yeah, see. So I think we can skip the question part and keep it to the end. We have the model ID with us, right? So let me just copy this model ID. I can retrain, I can delete it, but I'm not gonna delete it as of now. So let me just stick to the next step, and I have the model ID and all the details. Status is succeeded, just to be assured that we are on a good page, right? And that can actually, this model ID can be used to for the predictions and all. Yeah. So now I have the model ID with this, right? And what I will do is I will check the confusion matrix, and this is a very important part. And this is something which I highlighted when I shared it with you, that about the confusion about the data set which I've created, how bad is it, right? We'll get the right set of idea from here. So the summary of a confusion matrix, this is a summary, right? And followed by the epoch details. So I hope some of you actually know about the epoch, right? How epoch works, right? And each epoch is nothing but basically a full training cycle. It's like whenever you're training your the data set, right? It follows up with a cycle, and there are different set of recommendation with epochs, that how many epochs we should have. It of course we have here as in 25, so I'm not sure if it is being being designed in a way for Einstein platform services for testing purpose, that we can have 25, or it depends on the data set here, because it is something that which is designed uh, at the machine level, how it will be done. So we have 25 year at, and each training cycle, that full training cycle is followed by a commission, a confusion matrix. So that is something which we are seeing here, right? Each one you will get the details out of it here. And the confusion matrix, so there are like two set of statements, right? True and false. But the true statement which I'm saying as a true, is it actually a true or it is a false, right? So for a machine, so that is something which is you are seeing in a as in a confusion matrix. And that is that gives an actual understanding about the data set which we have, right? The actual negatives, you can say, right? Or you can say actually the false positives. So that is that is where you can actually focus, and then uh, increase the efficiency, and then focus on the data set. And this is something, this step is very important, I think, when we are building uh, a data model. And when we are actually getting the predictions are something that the machine gives based on what the machine has learned. And what the machine has learned is something that we are seeing here, right? So moving ahead, I think we have the model ID with us, and we got an very basic, I would say, basic understanding on this epoch and all, right? And yeah, okay, so let me go forward and click on verify the bot. So we have given this model ID, which is a kind of a default one, but the model ID which we have generated right now with our data set. And again, I would just like to highlight, anyone can go and use it, uh, train their data set, whatever they have, CSV, if they want, if you want to create your own, right? Just want to try it once, right? And you do not have, you want to go for a whole integration process to or take the code and then update the code in the system, but you just want to test it, verify it, right? This is the place you can focus. This for admins and consultant, I think this is something which definitely can be leveraged from their end, right? If they do not want to spend time on that direction. So just to reduce and target that pain area, I think you can actually target and create your model ID. So once you have the model ID, right, you can actually verify it with a bot. So what does it mean is, let me just show you first, right? And then give you a parallel understanding with what it actually does. So yeah, so just like the previous model ID, we have the high level understanding about the data set, how it is there, right? All the labels and the number of examples we have. And now moving forward with the next part, which is the map with a skill. So this comes the part, right, which I would like to go back into the PPT and okay, just my bad. Yeah. So here is the part where I was sharing that what if the user just would like to know his username, right? And what's my name? That is the intent. Now I got the intent, and based on my data set, right, I actually know what the user is trying to get, right? He's actually trying to get his name, or he's actually trying to search a user. So can't I just tag it to a certain set of logic? So that is where it comes into the picture, which is we are in our case is calling a skill, right? And let me yeah. So search a user. Let me just connect it with search a user, help items with help items, and admin search account, opportunity, search opportunity. Okay, it should be greetings. My bad. Find sentiments. Yeah. So this is something is the label. And guys, just to be on the same picture, this is the label. Now I have given it just to just to avoid any confusion. You guys can give it anything, right? You can give uh, or you guys can give an acknowledgement message, right? And once you have the acknowledgement message, right, you will have the acknowledgement message mentioned as in here, and that is something you can actually connect with the skill, something that is of course built by you, your own logic, right? And this is just for the targeting the audience for the who actually goes and search for any user. Always it's like 4 or 5 clicks. Of course, I 100% agree with global search. It minimize the time and everything by 50% to an very next extent. But this is something you can uh, uh, just add as a skill as a part of your whole bunch of I would say your bundle of skills. Yeah. So now I think we can continue on this part and proceed. Yeah. So here is your bot on the left side, left screen, and on the right screen will be just the API calls, how it is being done, just a kind of a high level dashboard, right, where you will be seeing what exactly was being sent, what is the API response of the sentiment, and what was what actually the system meant, right, and how it will be how it is being connected with the skill, and which skill is being then called upon. And skill is nothing but in our case is the apex class, and then what exactly will be the next step. Yeah. So let's suppose this is a bot, right? And based on my initial greeting, just want to say uh, a so yeah. So I'm just giving this text right away in front of you, but I'm really not sure based on the confusion metric, because I think I've not tested it. Yeah, I am not tested. I assure you. So let's see if the actually it understand it or not. Yeah. So you guys can see, right? Uh, my input is hey, what's up? And the first greeting was having the 99, like 0.99 probability, right? So probability like 1 out of 0.99, that is a very good, right? So we have received a response that is skill selected, right? That is intent first greeting, and that is what I think our skill was in the previous map skills, right? And that is what is being used here. Okay, now let me just analyze some sentiment of some tests, right? So what I would like to call, I would like, okay, so again, just to give a heads up, guys, I'm not sure if it will return the right set of, oh my god, yeah, again. So we have the intent sentiment selected here, right? Skill set, and that is of course is being given by our text. In this case, I think we have not received a response. I need to look into the code again. The second response, why it was not being triggered, but we'll update. We will make sure that it will be there. So a miss, but right skill set is still selected. So let me just add something, see if it actually works. Yesterday's PPT was very good. Let's close it tomorrow. Okay. So I just want to do this analysis, submit it over, right? And oh, yep. So the sentiment statistics of this conversation email shows that it is 67% positive, which is good. Yeah. So I think analysis of my email comes out to be very good. Now I have two skill successfully completed. Now let's target the next one, which is search a user. So what if I want to search a user? Find a user. Yep. So again, it has not given me the detail of everything, right? But we have the right skill selected. Intent, this is for admin. So I've just created this skill for admin and search user. Yeah. So let me search my name. Will it be here or not? Oh, I'm not there in the, yeah, I think it is of the different name. Yeah. Okay, so this is the site user, and which automatically came in, and based on what I want to do, I can add some hyperlinks, and of course URL hack is always a fun. You can actually log in from here and click on here and open it into the respective tab, but as of now it won't work in the site.com because the URL and requires authentication and all. Yeah, so now let me search another user. um, no, there are no other users. So everything, like all these things, all these logics which you are seeing, right? The screens, login as in this, we get this response, and based on what you need, you can decide a button, right? And based on the button, right, if you do not like to enter the UI input, you have the control on this lightning component, right? So instead of giving a user a chance to enter a wrong or invalid intent which cannot be recognized in system, like just to avoid any mess, you can actually disable this input and make sure that the user only clicks on the options which are available in the chatbot screen, but not on this text box, because this is whole again being controlled by the developer, right? So they can ensure that this is being done. They can add a pie chart in this. They can add a, you know they have the button, so they can actually add an input field inside this one, bills, right? So everything, I think whatever we can think of developing in a normal environment, we can build it inside this screen and then make it available to the end user. And to avoid any mess, right, of course, just to emphasize again, this is something which I've been doing a lot in a lot of websites. I go there and I just put some random text there, like, hey, like, I'm just doing this thing, like I'm just here for fun, nothing, I do not want to order some food, right? And the response is like, what's your next order? What would you like to order, right? So it doesn't make sense. So you can actually disable it, right? Or just try to be more appropriate on what the user actually inputs. Yeah. So now moving to the next part, which is search opportunity. So find me opportunity. Okay, so again, the intent is the search opportunity and search by name or search by criteria. I select the search by name. Let me search the Acme. I think it should be there in because I think this is a site.com user, right? So they do not have sharing access on opportunity. I think I've not given it. So yeah, they are not able to see anything. But search opportunity. Yeah, so I've just tried to give a spelling mistake here just to see if it works or not. So we have received something financial, we can give a hospitality this quarter, right? So these all things again I would like to highlight because we have the full control of the lightning component right here, it is, which is there in the bot, and that is something we can actually um, leverage and use it for our own good. I've targeted this specific type of use, audience, I would say um, role, but we can build it based on what is being desired, right? Yeah. So nothing again, just exiting it out, right? So I think that's it from the bot perspective. Um, just to give a a little just to go 2 steps back, we have done the searching the modeling, searching the model here, right? And based on what we have searched, right, we actually got a model. Okay, yeah, we got the details of out of it, the model ID, the data set details. Based on that, we will be mapping it the skill. Skill is nothing but the apex class logics which we have written in the background, right? It basically makes the whole picture dynamic and gives us more control out of it, that what we actually want to do with the user intent, right? And then proceed with it. And here is our chatbot which we can actually use with bot skill and then take it further. So I think this is something which we can build at our own um, org, right? And take it forward. And in contrast to what the Einstein bots offer, this is whole different picture. I'm not relating it with any, any of features which are available with the Einstein bot. This is solely from our developer side, right? That which we can actually build, and if we want to leverage, we see a use case of it out of it, right? Then we can actually take it forward. Yeah. So I think that's all from this perspective. URL for this playground, right? This site.com playground will be shared to all of you with with the recording details and all on our New Delhi SFDC um, official website, and of course will be shared on the Twitter, LinkedIn handler as well. And um, I think that's all from the presentation perspective. I think we can now move to the Q&A. Okay, guys, anyone has any questions? If you would like to share.
Yeah, hi Sagar. Rishu this side. Hello.
Yes,
Let me
Saagar.
know if I'm audible.
Hey, hi Rishu. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Just wanted to know, like, maybe very basic question, but uh, how we can use this chatbot which we created in our Salesforce org actually, or from where I can create it. Do we need to create this Einstein chatbot in our Salesforce org, or it is created in that website only, site.com?
Okay, so thank you so much, Rishu. We have this chatbot available on the site.com, and of course, you can build it in your own org the way you want to customize it and everything. You can of course build it, because this is something I think whole based on the code and all. So I will be sharing how you can actually build it in your own org, write a sample out of it,
Okay.
and a sample out of the code, because I think if I share the whole piece of code, it is quite messed up, and
Mm-hmm.
it won't be appropriate. It's actually not commented, like all the wrong practices have been followed, just to make sure that the code is up and running for this demo, and for the the other audience which I think cannot build it. So we will share a sample out of it, right, how we can build it, and with the code and all. um, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sagar. So then we can use that code in our Salesforce org, and then we will be able to see that chatbot. Is it?
Yeah, Rishu. So yeah, you're right. We can do
Okay.
that. I will share it across, what we can do, what exactly are the steps required, and then we can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sagar.
Thanks. Do we have any other questions, any concerns as of now? Um, if not, then you guys can please post it over Twitter, any social handlers, right? Connect it over with the New Delhi SFTC group, right? And then we can target that specific question. Yeah. Okay. So we have received another question from Pooja, and her question is there any limitation on the data sets? So there is not limitations, but I would call the best practices which have to be followed to make sure that the data model which we get out of it is the appropriate, is the effective one, because the data set will decide how our data modeling, and based on the data modeling will come the predictions. So there is no I would say not, we don't have limitations, but the best practices that how much data, the examples versus label combination should be there. And um, and there are like couple of others as well. I could actually share those details with you. Yeah. So I will, yeah, I can share, I can target that specific question and then share it across what exactly the recommendations are there. But as shared in my PPT in the presentation, and there is metamind.ai, right? The portal is there, so you guys can go there, and it is always the source of truth, where you will find the right set of recommendations and what enhancements are being done on the APIs on the regular basis. So metamind.readme.io is something that, a website is something that you guys can always refer to get the latest recommendations, updates going on the platform services, especially in our case is the Einstein language, right? And get the right set of details out of it. Yeah. And of course, the Einstein.ai as well, where also you will get the right set of details. Yes, you're right, Rishu. That's the right website. Yeah, for sure. Pooja will be sharing it, the PPT, the recordings, as well as the URL of the site to everyone. Okay, so guys, we are already 7 minutes up, and I think I'm really sorry to take a little bit more on a weekday of your time. And thank you so much for being a great audience, and all the questions which I think we have received are really um, a good one, which we so thank you so much again. Thanks for your time, and be connected. Take care. Bye bye. Yeah. So Atul, I think we are done. If yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I'm back, guys. Okay, thank you very much, Saga. Thank you very much for this session, this beautiful session. I'm pretty sure this was quite enlightening, and a lot of new things were discussed here. These are some of the topics that are very new to the Salesforce platform itself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of developers, admins who've joined this session. So again, guys, we'll make sure in the next 1 or 2 days, uh, the recording of this session as well as the slides are uploaded, and they'll be available only in, you don't need to go to YouTube, you don't need to go to SlideShare. They'll both be available on our website on the same post where the information about the session was given. And as soon as we post it, you'll also get an email from our side giving you an idea, hey, the sessions have been posted, you can check them out. All right, Saga, thank you very much again for the session. And yeah, I wish you a great week ahead. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, Atul, for giving this platform. Take care, guys. Bye bye.